Ordinary people everywhere are making a difference in the world. They might be changing the way they shop or standing up against environmental destruction or simply helping others to do so. This edition of EcoAfrica is bursting with inspiring tales of people taking the initiative. Welcome. I am Chris Lems in Lagos, Nigeria, and joining me from Lusaka, Zambia is Malama Mukonde.
Yes, welcome to EcoAfrica from me too. This is what we've got in store today. The Gambian women showing the way to sustainable living. And a win-win situation for olive farmers and retired chickens. And the farmers bringing on a mushroom boom in Rwanda.
A single dirt track, popular with water buffalo, is currently the only road here. But the Kenyan government wants to build a tarmac highway as part of its ambitious Mau Mau Road construction project. It would cut right through the Aberdare National Park north of the capital, Nairobi.
Aberdare ecosystem is a critical water catchment area. We actually call it is one of the 5 water towers in Kenya. So in terms of the resources that are being obtained from the Aberdare, talking about water, 90% of water that is being used in Nairobi is being sourced from Aberdare.
Founded in 1950, the Aberdare National Park covers around 767 square kilometers. It's home to nearly 800 types of plant and 270 animal species. Only off-road vehicles can negotiate the track, and they need to drive carefully. The access road leading to the proposed 52-kilometer highway is already under construction. Supporters say the highway through the park will boost the economy, tourism, and mobility, linking 2 counties. Opponents argue that a reduction in travel time is negligible, that indigenous wildlife habitats will be affected, and the park split in 2.
The northern sector, then the southern sector. This is going to have a serious impact on the ecosystem and biodiversity therein.
An electric fence guards the perimeter of the park. It stretches for 400 kilometers, making it the longest conservation fence in the world. So far, it has successfully helped to curb poaching and the illegal extraction of charcoal. It also allows animals and humans to live together peacefully. The planned road could undo some of those successes.
With the proposed road cutting through the Aberdare and splitting it into 2, then we certainly create a lot of opportunities for missing all the conservation efforts that have gone into the area, including the attempt to recover some of these species like the mountain bongo.
But not everyone opposes the planned road. The Geta Community Forest Association uses the forest bordering the national park in a sustainable way. Here, their chairman Daniel Kiaria and community members are planting seedlings of indigenous trees for reforestation. We have over 17 user rights. Our communities graze their livestock here, for example. Then there is the so-called Pellis scheme, where people are allowed to farm crops in the early stages of a forest plantation. And after 3 years, they move out. The chairman supports the building of the road. He believes that conservation needs to be balanced with infrastructure development. There are effective ways to integrate the road with the conservation of our wildlife and forest. This isn't the first road to traverse a forest. We can implement strategies that develop our economy and protect our precious natural resources. Preparatory building work for the $44 million Mau Mau Road is moving ever closer to the park. Environmentalists have proposed a bypass road, but the Kenyan government continues to push the route through the nature reserve. In 2024, judges from Kenya's highest court for environmental issues temporarily halted construction after various groups filed a petition. Now, a year later, they have rejected a government claim that the court does not have jurisdiction.
The issues raised in the petition touch on violation of various constitutional rights, such as the right to a clean and healthy environment, depletion of tree cover, climate change, and biodiversity, among others. Accordingly, we come to the conclusion that the court has jurisdiction and the preliminary objection is not merited.
The judges say they want to visit the sites of the proposed road to help them make an informed decision. As with many construction projects, the proposed road through Aberdare National Park pits economic interests against the needs of the environment. Until the court's final verdict, the dirt track will remain the only way through the park.
Across Africa and elsewhere, the effect of climate change are affecting women worse than men. In many societies, women generally have fewer education options, a harder career path, and earn less money. That makes it even tougher when food is short or extreme weather disrupts the life. But it doesn't have to be that way, as a growing group of women in Gambia are showing.
Seen from above, this is increasingly what the Gambia looks like. Solar modules on roof are no longer a rarity, but it is rarely women who install them. Fatun Joy is a pioneer in her field and wants to lead by example.
Women can contribute in the fight of climate change because we are the energy users at home. For example, I will take an example of myself to become a solar installer because it's a men-dominated areas, and then we believe that it's only men that can do it. And I said big no to that. Fatu is a woman and she can do it. And also training more women on this will also help us to fight on climate change.
And this is where she passes on her knowledge. The solar installation training program both empowers the women and promotes renewable energy, helping communities combat climate change.
This school play a key role when you come to mitigation on climate change. One, we empower the local communities, like for example, we equip them with the training, that's the skills that we have, that's renewable energy, for them not to use fossil fuel, because we all know that what fossil fuel do to the climate change. We also train them to become a responsible person when you come to energy.
Education is key to raising awareness of the effects of climate change and the need to care for the environment. It's never too early to start.
I want to ask again, like I said, I'll be asking a lot of questions. What is climate change? Yeah?
Environmental activist Maimuna Jabi runs a special class in eco-education at this primary school in Abuko, near the capital, Banjul. The students are eager to learn the basics.
The climate issue or the environmental issue have become an emergency, but there's still a lot of gaps because they still do not really understand some of the problems and some of the issues, and at this stage they should have been more prepared. So that is why us coming to do some of these extra sessions, it helps to bridge this gap for them.
The class also look after fruit trees in the school's courtyard, a lesson that teaches the students to act responsibly for future generations. If the trees are cared for properly, future students will enjoy more shade and get to harvest the fruit too. A larger-scale tree planting project is underway on Banjul Beach. Its driving force is Fatou Jeng, another key player in environmental activism in the Gambia. 14,000 palm and baobab trees are planted on the city's shoreline.
If the sea rises for 1 meter, we will inundate. Banjul is a city that is very vulnerable to rise in sea level, and trees like coconut and baobab trees are actually trees that are very important or very crucial in helping at least cope the coastal erosion. So the trees actually serve as a resistant or at least a barrier to actually help the city cope our challenge of rising sea level.
Not too far away from the beach, In Bakau, women are also spearheading another eco-friendly project. Bakau Women's Garden is an agricultural cooperative that was established more than 30 years ago. Over the past years, the project has moved away from conventional methods towards organic farming. We cut out using chemicals because it destroys our products. Secondly, it reduces the fertility of the soil and increases the amount of salt in the soil. Now we use organic waste instead of chemicals. This organic granite waste was given to us by the Department of Agriculture, and we use it with animal manure from our homes. The Women's Garden is a unique project that provides organic food and aims to educate people about the benefits of organic farming, highlighting the advantages for people and nature, as well as the key role played by women.
Our means of sustenance and livelihood is dependent on the natural environment. So that means when climate disasters occur, our means of sustenance as women is actually going to be significantly affected. In addition to that, in our side of the world, we have seen how it's mainly a patriarchal society, and women do not still have access or sufficient access to resources that will help them adapt to the impacts of climate change. Even in terms of early warning system as well, the level of resource access is different. In terms of technology access, it's also different.
Despite this inequality in many areas, women in the Gambia are on the forefront of building a more sustainable, environmentally responsible and resilient future for the small country. They are making a big difference and hope to inspire others with their initiatives and ideas in every corner of the country and beyond.
All over the world, eggs are essential in most households. But in industry farming, once hens stop laying so many eggs, they're often sent off to the slaughterhouse. However, it doesn't have to be that way, as some olive farmers in Cyprus have rediscovered.
Why did the chicken run through the olive grove? Because these farmers have recruited them to do so.
We bring hens that are already, they're on the way to slaughter, so we rescue them, so we provide them with a old hen's home, if you like, and they can come here and retire.
Farmer Elena Christoforos and soil engineer Nicolas Netier let retired laying hens roam this olive grove, and this has various advantages.
They're scratching at the ground, they're scratching at the soil, they're eating the ground cover, they're eating pests, you know, and then also we're bringing food waste, which would otherwise go into landfill. By bringing the food here, it stops being waste and it enters the system again. And so they're helping us with that as well.
In conventional farming, laying hens have a maximum lifespan of 2 years, and often they are kept like this. Some laying hens never see the light of day and spend their short lives in cages just to produce eggs. In several European countries, animal welfare groups have successfully campaigned against cage eggs, but elsewhere they still exist. Here in the Grove, however, things look very different. The rescued hens can live for another 6 to 8 years and have a positive effect on the ecosystem by, well, doing their business under the trees.
What we notice is a much better growth and much better fruit bearing of the trees, right? Because of that fertilizer, right? That free fertilizer. And the olives that we collected last autumn had 0 olive fly on it, 0 bites, right? So the pest control there was perfect.
Saving the lives of these hens has been a win-win situation, and biodiversity is also returning.
The good news is that it happens very quickly, so there's hope. We create that balance, and we don't need to buy pesticide, we don't need to buy fertilizer, so we're trying to create a self-sustained ecosystem.
Now for some more foods. Are you a mushroom fan? If not, our next report might just turn you into one. Edible mushrooms come in many different shapes and sizes. They are tasty and full of protein, vitamins and minerals. Farmers in Rwanda
are doing so much with what they've got.
In the dark, humid interior of these huts, Semagambo Evariste is cultivating a crop that could help improve food security in Rwanda: oyster mushrooms.
Maze imyaka 5 mpinga ibihumyo. Iyo uhinze ibihumyo byera vuba.
I have been cultivating mushrooms for 5 years.
Byera vuba mu minsi.
Their rapid growth sets them apart from other crops. Between 9 and 15 days after cultivation, the mushrooms are ready for sale. With other crops, you often have to wait 5 to 6 months before they can be harvested. But with mushrooms, you're generating revenue within just 2 weeks. They have many advantages over other crops.
Semagambo Evariste grows his mushrooms in Rugarama village, one of 15 villages supported by Kigali Farms. It's trained around 700 smallholder farmers and had the huts specially built, which the farmers use for free. It also provides them with production and commercialization assistance. The social enterprise was set up by Laurent de Moink in 2010. Previously, he ran a microbrewery in New York. But he wanted to move to Africa to do something sustainable with a community impact, and then inspiration hit.
A book called Mycelium Running: How Mushrooms Can Help Save the World. And I thought, yeah, that's too much. You know, how can mushrooms save the world? But I started reading the book, and I was very quickly convinced that mushrooms are these incredible organisms that can do a lot of good things if you use them in the right way. They can be good for people's health. They're very healthy to eat. They're very nutritious. They can be very good for the environment because they have a tendency to recycle organic matter into something useful.
The agronomic conditions in Rwanda are ideal for the cultivation of several varieties of mushrooms, and the crop is an ideal solution to one of the problems the country faces: its growing population, which currently numbers around 14 million, and the limited availability of arable land, which encompasses some 1.4 million hectares.
This indicates that our current land resources may not adequately ensure food security for all citizens in the future. However, we should still seek viable solutions. Mushrooms play a significant role in the circular bioeconomy. It solves the issue of negative effects of crop residues in the long term.
That's because it's used as a substrate for the mushrooms. Kigali Farms provides support to local wheat farmers when they harvest, and then buys their wheat straw, which is then fermented into substrate. The farmers used to burn their crop residue, contributing to air pollution.
In the countryside is where you find more agricultural waste that can be converted into mushrooms. So we started with that, and then 5-6 years into it, we started with button mushrooms. Now, button mushrooms worldwide is the #1 commercial mushrooms everywhere. It's 90% of the cultivated mushroom around the world, but it was 0 in Rwanda, and it's very, very low in Africa.
Requiring minimal input in terms of costs, land and labour, mushroom farming is benefiting local communities here in Rwanda, as well as helping decrease emissions and improve soil quality. What's more, mushrooms are increasingly seen as an affordable and healthy food, and a much more environmentally friendly source of protein than meat.
Instead of having your hamburger with beef in it, you can have a vegetarian burger with the mushroom in it. That's just as delicious, much healthier for you, and much healthier for the planet.
Mushroom farming fits well with the Rwandan government's plans to make agriculture climate smart.
We aim to integrate climate-smart agriculture into our agricultural policy. We will promote sustainable and environmentally friendly farming methods. We aim to support all forms of agriculture or farming that generate organic fertilizers. This approach not only aids in combating the impacts of climate change, but also diversifies our reliance beyond mushrooms.
With its many benefits for the environment, mushroom farming is helping Rwanda meet its target of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by nearly 40% by the end of the decade.
These days, more than ever, celebrities are role models. Now, they often have a big influence on the younger generations and the choices they make. So when they use their platform to promote a good cause, they can speed up the necessary changes. Now, here's a prime example from Burkina Faso.
The venue is packed and this message is clear: protect our environment. Plastic pollution features big in his performance. Zabda is a big name in Burkina Faso. As a musician, he's well aware that what he says and does carries weight. We are asking ourselves, also as citizens of the world, how can we contribute to preventing and raising awareness about environmental destruction, to alleviating these problems? What's our role? That's where we say that art can also be used as a means of communication to bring about a change in behavior. Zabda is the founder of the association Wakat, which uses art and culture as a tool to raise awareness of social and environmental issues. In this workshop, women including a trader, a local politician, and an actor are learning about the damaging effects of plastic trash and what can be done about it. They are then trained in how to communicate this message to others through role play and storytelling. In the north of Ouagadougou, Marianne Pogo is one of the women trained by Wakat as an environmental ambassador. She buys waste plastic bags collected by local women. Many have fled the Islamist militant insurgency in the north. This is often their only way of earning a little money for their families. Marianne, who is a film actor, also earns about 150 euros a month by selling the bags to a recycling company. I am motivated by two things. The first is to keep the environment clean, and the second, I earn a little from time to time. I buy from them and sell them on. In Burkina Faso, people mostly use single-use plastic bags. That's where another ambassador comes in. Maimuna Sawadogo has a small workshop in Ouagadougou where she sews bags from wax print fabric. Zabda and Wakat want to promote these alternatives to plastic. Then fishmonger Aseta Sawadogo sells the bags. She is another Wakat ambassador. To many people, the price of 1,000 francs, the equivalent of €1.50, is quite high. But Aseta has found a way of convincing her customers. It wasn't easy at first, but now the women understand that the plastic bags are a serious problem. It's not good when you use them. They can cause so many illnesses like cancer. The women come and buy the bags. I let them pay in installments, taking 100 francs, 200 francs, little by little, so it's paid off in the end. Zabda is also active off stage. Since 2021, he's been visiting schools. Today, he is in a school in the village of Lumbila, east of Ouagadougou. Teacher Kotimo Pogo is also one of his ambassadors. Children are quite capable of passing on information. Often when you teach a child something, they'll go home and say, "Daddy, Mommy, we learned something today." The teacher said not to do that. The mother often learns that way. There are other parents who come to the school to ask us questions. They say their children have told them not to do this or that, and so they ask us if it's true. Meanwhile, Zabda is busy picking up litter in the schoolyard with the children. All the elements of the project are important to him, but he says working with children is the most important of all. If I want tomorrow to be better, children are the bearers of tomorrow's ideas. Children are hope. Children are the future. Then he gets out his guitar and turns the schoolyard into a concert venue with a new song that's about plastic bags.
On that note, it's time to say goodbye. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Maybe you even feel like taking action yourself. Let us know at eco@dw.com. I'm Crystal Lems in Lagos, Nigeria. See you next time.